Hello folks, I'm here with Amy Nickerson, President of Penobscot County Beekeepers. I've mentioned before I used to be President of Penobscot County Beekeepers, but Amy's joined me so we can discuss a little bit about what your local beekeeping club could do for you and what a resource it is. So thank you, Amy.
Thank you for having me.
So just wanted to talk a little bit specifically about Penobscot County Beekeepers, as it's the only one you and I have both had a long-term relationship with.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us about what Penobscot County Beekeepers aims to do?
One of our primary functions is a community outreach. We want to help educate people about honeybees, how about beekeeping, is it for them, and just give them a little bit more information about the fascinating world of the honeybee colony.
Yeah.
So, and we'll go to schools. If people have what they think are honeybees or wasps or something at their house, a lot of times they can reach out to us. We can respond, give them some suggestions if it's a wasp colony, or if it's a honeybee colony. We have people that can assist them with removing these type of things, all to help protect our honeybee, not just go grab a can of Raid.
Right.
But I think education is one of our primary.
Yeah, both of the general public and beekeepers themselves.
Absolutely. Our club, we welcome any and all levels of beekeeping. We've got everything from first-year beekeepers or people who don't even have bees yet, to we have people who are commercial beekeepers. And it's just a great networking system where people can feel that they can come in, ask questions, they can be mentored by people who've had bees a lot longer. You were my mentor when I started a long time ago, and that is invaluable to the new beekeeper.
And ironically, it's not that long ago, because we've only been doing the club for less than 10 years now.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've only been doing this for about 6 years now. So,
Right.
And absolutely, knowing anybody who starts in this business or just the hobbyist, it becomes an obsession. And it really does. And
I'm afraid so.
It's a wonderful obsession. It's a wonderful one.
This is so much easier having somebody here to talk to, because I can just put the question to you and just sit back and just listen, and that sort of thing. It's great. Okay, so although I've been in your position before, why don't you let's tell people about what could a person thinking about beekeeping expect if they came along to one of our meetings? Are they welcome to come along to our meetings? Absolutely.
You don't have to be a member to come to one or two of our meetings, just to kind of feel us out and see what we're about. But what you can expect, a lot of our meetings will open up with some type of presenter that will give some kind of educational aspect. It'll be anywhere from overwintering your hives to managing varroa mites. And so we try to start off with a speaker. And if we don't have a speaker, we have like a question and answer type deal. But what you'll find is a group of like-minded people coming together, all different levels. And it's a safe area to ask questions, to ask someone who has more experience than you, someone who's on the same level as you, maybe, at what works for you.
Yeah, I agree, because there's so many people in the club are beginners.
Yes.
When we first started up the club, I think we only had about 6 members who actually had bees for more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else had just started. But it seems that maybe we have an influx of about 20% of new beekeepers who've never kept bees before,
Mm-hmm.
starting with us for each year. And so it would be interesting to say examples of what sort of speakers and things we've had.
Oh, we've had the state apiarist has come and spoken about the varroa mite, Jennifer Lund. She's extremely knowledgeable and very personable. She's more than willing to answer any questions. At times, she's even come to people's houses to inspect their hives. We've had yourself, who's has an educational aspect of it, is used to teaching people right from the ground up. Question and answer. I think that's an invaluable part of what we do. Your knowledge, you've been doing this for a long time, certainly helped me when I first started. And I felt like I could ask you anything. I know that for a fact that your phone rings off the hook constantly with people that have these questions. But we have mentors within the club. And, if you feel like you'd like to have somebody maybe come take a look at what you're doing or help you start up, there's several members within the club that have some experience that are willing to come and help you out. Look at a location, pretty much anything. I mean, everybody within this club, they love bees, and they want to share that passion with other people.
And it's also one of the things I've loved about it is to see the diversity of interest in the different aspects that people are starting to take particular interest in and then become speakers themselves.
Exactly.
Like we've got experts in, now people who've gone from beginners to near expert in things like queen rearing, in newt building and splitting hives, honeybee removal, all these sort of talks. So I think it's something that people find first of all, very interesting as a subject matter for a monthly presentation, but it's also hugely useful, particularly those who might want to do more with their bees and get more involved in some of the more finesse aspects of beekeeping.
Absolutely. I mean, we have members who, there's members who want the honey production. There's members, like you said, that are primarily the queen rearing. There are members who, we've had speakers who actually were our members that get into the craft aspect of it, making the bee wrap covers and, hand creams and lip balms. And there's just so many different things. It's not just going out and keeping bees in your backyard. There's just so many different avenues and aspects and different things that you can do. Removals, which I find very exciting. I thoroughly enjoy that. Not only does that help educate someone maybe whose house or barn has been invaded by some type of wasp or honeybee, we're able to educate them how to remove that, how to take care of that, and help the bee at the same time. Like I said earlier, it's a good group of people with like-minded thoughts and hobbies, and it's a great place to learn as well as teach.
Yes. So there are lots of resources within the club itself. Let's talk a little bit about the Maine State Beekeepers, the bigger organization.
Absolutely. Maine State Beekeepers Association covers the whole state. There are a lot of members there and a lot of resources. And they have resources. They have the Bee Line, which tends to come out. They have a newsletter that comes out. There's
a couple of months.
Yeah, every couple of months. They have different speakers as well, and host different types of trainings. It's a great resource for.
Yeah, Penobscot County Beekeepers is a chapter of Maine State Beekeepers, and I believe there's something like 19 or 20 in the state.
Yes.
And I think many of other states have similar sort of organizational structure as well. Mm-hmm. So it's great to get that local information, because how we do things here in Penobscot County, or the southern part of Penobscot County, is a little different to how we do things in northern Penobscot County Beekeepers. And in fact, Penobscot County Beekeepers split into two, just to save people a 80-mile return journey.
Absolutely.
For northern Penobscot County Beekeepers, and they're doing extremely well as well. So these subgroups of beekeepers is not a sign of it being split up, but a sign of getting more accurate local information, which is really, really helpful.
Someone who's keeping bees in Portland, spring comes a lot sooner than up in Fort Kent. So you're able more to talk with people that are pretty much in the same seasonal zone as you are, more local issues if there's a problem. It's more localized.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Some of the things that I think back on Penobscot County Beekeepers is some of the events that we hosted and some of the guests we've had. I mean, we'd only been established for a couple of years when we hosted the Maine State Beekeepers Association annual general meeting and conference, 2 years in a row, and I think we had in the order of 200 to 250 people for that. which was pretty good for a brand new club.
Absolutely.
But then we've since also, I think, been a bit of a leader in the States so far about inviting more people to attend our meetings. For instance, like the symposium we had about 2 years ago, where we had a number of great speakers like Ian Stepler from a Canadian Beekeepers blog, a fantastic resource for anyone interested in beekeeping in the north. The Canadian Beekeepers blog was fantastic, and Ian gave us a couple of talks in that. We had Tucker B during that event, as well as our state apiarist Jennifer Lund, of course. But we've got a few other things lined up coming as well, don't we?
We do. Actually, on this month's meeting, we have Jen Vachon from Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. She's going to come and talk about black bears.
And we've got plenty of them in Maine.
Oh yeah, and anybody who keeps bees knows about black bears, and bees and bears go right back to Winnie the Pooh. I mean, they've always gone hand in hand, and I think that's going to be a real interesting talk. Plus, she's going to give us the biologies of the bears, as well as maybe some nuisance problems that we're having and how to solve some of those problems.
Excellent.
And then in February, we've got actually got Natasha Reiser coming, and she's going to give us a talk on bee venom therapy, and what that means and what people use it for, which is really, I don't know that we really talked about that much in the past. So.
No, we just get the bee venom therapy as a default of keeping bees, especially you. You get some more than me.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when I'm in your bee yard. I tend
That's
to
right.
And then March, we've got Anna Heck is coming. She's from MSU. She's going to give a talk, and she's going to have a variety of different topics, such as what to look for when you're looking at a brood frame, queen issues, bee biology. So it'll be a little bit of stuff for beginners, as well as some stuff that'll be of interest to those of us who've been doing it for quite a while. And then once again in April, we got Ian Stepler coming back.
Yes, Ian Stepler coming.
These are all going to be via Zoom, of course, because of the given the
right. So if anybody is not a member of the club, they want to join us by Zoom, they should get in touch with us on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And then we can send them an invitation.
Yes, definitely. And it's everyone's welcome. The more we can get the words out and education, I think the better.
That's great.
We've also got hopefully sometime in the spring, we're going to have hopefully a big community outreach program where we're going to host something at the drive-in in Bangor, and we'll have a showing of Honeyland there, and I think that'll be a real good way to get people from the community in and have a good time.
That's kind of perfect for the current situation with COVID-19, and
Absolutely.
Then having a socially distanced drive-in movie bee experience. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. So that's we're still working on that right now, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
So, yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your own story into beekeeping?
Well, I have a very high stress job, and I needed a hobby. And in trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do, I came across one of your commercials, and I have always had an extreme fear, even from childhood, of bees. In my mind, it was bees. In actuality, it was more like wasps. But I was absolutely terrified of these bees. And I saw one of your commercials, and that you gave classes, and I'm like, I'm going to look into this. And I took your beginners beekeeping, and then I took the intermediate as well as that, and by the time the intermediate was done, I was absolutely hooked, and I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed with bees. And to be able to go from being absolutely terrified from anything that went buzz, to now, if one is in my bird bath drowning, I can pick it up with my bare hand. I mean, that's been huge for me. And it wasn't just
they're a lot smaller than they look in the
They
videos
are.
as well.
They are. In your classes, everything was up on the screen. I mean, the bees looked this big, and I'm like, yep, that's why I'm afraid of those. And when I actually got my first hive, I'm like, they're tiny. They're just little, tiny, non-aggressive beings.
Yeah, and all of them thinking and working alike, and just
Absolutely.
such an organized
It's
thing to watch.
absolutely, it's fascinating. It's whenever I'm home, I'm usually out standing next to my hives, drinking my coffee in the morning, just watching them. Once you learn about what it is that they actually do and how they function as a colony, almost like one brain, to actually see that and witness them doing what you've learned.
Yeah.
It's
And then
nothing
even
short of
being
easy.
able to step into it.
Absolutely.
Step into it, it's still taking place all around you. And that's
Absolutely. You know, you just you're kind of like a pothole to them. They've got I'll work around you right now, and they keep doing what they're doing, and it's absolutely fascinating. It's I highly recommend it. I mean,
Spring's only a couple of months away.
that's right. That's right. That's right. There are classes out there, and again, come to one of our meetings. Learn and ask the questions. Don't ever be afraid to ask a question. I mean, those of us who've been doing this for a while, and even people who've just started, if you just want to learn about bees, if you ask a question, you're going to get a very long answer because we love to talk about bees, and we can do it for as long as someone will listen.
Very true.
So.
Now, what's going to be the best way for people to get in touch to join us? So, for instance, let's talk about where we meet, when we meet.
Yeah, we meet the last Thursday of every month at Dice Arts in Bangor, and now
That's on Broadway in Bangor. There's two restaurants at Dice Arts, but one's on Broadway in Bangor.
Correct. And we meet at 6 p.m. Current situations unfortunately with the virus, we're meeting remotely, and we're doing our meetings via Zoom. But as soon as we're able to gather again, we'll definitely be doing that as soon as we can do it safely.
Yeah.
But if you go, we have a Facebook page. You can go to our Facebook page, which will also lead you to our website. And
I'll try and figure out how to put links in my to it. But what is the Facebook address?
It's Penobscot County Beekeepers Association.
Penobscot County Beekeepers Association.
Yeah. If you search that on Facebook, we should pop right up on it.
Yeah. And we've got a website that's in sort of development at the moment. I think
it's in the process, and it's up and running. We're still doing a little bit of construction on that. There is a link to that website on our Facebook page.
Right, and also if you're at Maine State Beekeepers, which is mainbeekeepers.org, if you're on that, there's links to the various clubs in the various areas in the state.
Yes. We also you can also message us on our Facebook page, and the officers have access to that, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
One of the favorite things for me with the Penobscot County Beekeepers is our open hive meetings.
Oh, yes.
And so usually May is our first one.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the open hive meetings because that's an opportunity where so many particularly beginners, as a teacher of beekeeping, I find this is something not to be missed because it's an opportunity to look inside other people's beehives. You're getting a guided tour by the operator of those hives. And it's such a great way to see what's going on in other people's hives and say, I saw that, now I understand what I'm looking for. And it's so much easier than reading it from a book or having a PowerPoint presentation in a class or something like that. But actually getting in the beehives with people, it's the next best thing to having a mentor there with you.
Absolutely. And that's a highlight every month, I think. And you're not just learning about the bees or sitting and asking questions. I mean, they're flying around you. You're actually seeing what someone does, and it's one more hook.
Yeah.
And
so we typically do those about towards the end of each spring and summer month, or May to sort of September.
Yes.
But I think we've had so many, and initially that was kind of tricky. There was only a few people who felt confident enough to do that. Now we've got so many confident people in the club that sometimes we have 2 open hives a month during the summer months. So it's something certainly not to be missed. It's a great educational opportunity.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things that strikes me is how different your beehive setup is from mine. Not that the bees are any different, but the location is different.
Absolutely. Yes, my hives are actually, I'm right in the city. I have neighbors all around me. And I actually have 3 hives and 1 little nuke going right now. And, people seem to think if I keep bees, I have to have acres and acres of orchards. And that's not the case. There's actually people who have hives in big cities up on rooftops. So you know.
I remember the first time I came to your yard to go through your hives with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're also really worried about what the neighbors would say, and so try not to don't. You were kind of worried that I would be bringing in stuff that looked like
Yes.
beekeeping stuff into your
Absolutely.
yard. You're worried, what would the neighbors say?
Absolutely. You know, and that almost goes back to my initial phobia of bees, and you know, not necessarily wanting people to know that I have bees, because I know that fear is out there. They just don't understand, which is, again, why we try to educate people. I have 3 hives in my backyard, and my hives are probably set 20 feet from my back deck. And we have no problems with bees up on our deck. Or these girls tend to go out of the hive and they go skyward, and they go other places. So it is possible to have honeybees and keep them right in the city, pretty much any setting. And again, the mentorship of other beekeepers. When you came over, and you know, I was like, did I put them in the right spot? Are they facing the right way? And you really put me at ease at that. And once again, this community of beekeepers through Penobscot County Beekeepers, they want to help other beekeepers. They want to encourage other people to do this as well, just because it's so fascinating, so fun, and so important.
Very much so. Yeah. Right. Well, in conclusion, Amy, is there anything that you'd like to add?
We would love to have anyone who's even remotely interested in beekeeping, or even just has questions, to join us, and to join us at a meeting, to reach out to us on Facebook. You know, we're willing to come out. We're willing to come to you. If you have a group or a school that you think that people would enjoy having a beekeeper come and speak to them, we are always willing to do that. We have many members that are willing to come out and do that. But come check us out, see what we're about, see if this is something for you. And I think if you have a slight interest, you're going to find that it is.
All right.
So.
Well, this has certainly been a lot easier than doing a video all by myself. We'll definitely have to do one later in the year,
Absolutely.
maybe out with the girls out back, or during an open hive meeting, even better. So I hope you found it. Found it as enjoyable as I did.
Absolutely, I did.
And I hope you found it educational too. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, or press a like, or share it with other people. I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. See you next time.